Hey, is the mic working?
Is it working now when you check? This is going to be on the Instagram before the video. I can feel it.
Hopefully people will still trust me with their events after this.
I mean, this should be all the more reason why they should trust you with this. In fact, tell me a little bit more about that. What kind of got you started with, like, you know, doing your event productions, and just run me through the whole process for you.
Gotcha. Well, I started playing music when I was 12, 13 years old. So I started playing drums in my local church and then guitar, because I was like, well, you know, I want to be in the front stage or whatever.
Be a smooth guy on the guitar in front.
I hate to say that's probably some of the some of the reason why, but I loved guitar. So started doing that, and I worked my first event when I was like 15 or 16 in Banquet on the island, or Anna Maria Island, and I was like, this is super cool. So you're telling me I get to help out with an event, like a one-in-a-lifetime event, and I get free food and paid?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there was something about it where I was just like, this is great, but it was like the experiential aspect. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Like, I don't know, some people don't like going to weddings, some people don't like going to events, but for me, I'm just like, I love the exchange of energy.
Yeah. That's a great way to kind of think about it, like an exchange of energy. Just kind of being in a room with different people, letting them get a feel for who you are, and you get a feel for the world, basically. For me, I feel like, you know, when I go to events and things like that, and also when I perform places now, it's a lot of just kind of like filling out the room. When you are, let's go back to that first event, like you were just talking about. First of all, what made you connect with them? Was it like you knew what songs, if you can remember, that is, did you feel like you connected through the music, like I picked the right songs and people had a good time? Or was it like people came up to you asking, hey, can you do this? And then you just felt comfortable accepting their requests. Like, you know, you see what I'm saying there?
Like it's, I would say, I mean, I always loved performing. So I would say it really, like I said, started in church. So like getting that direct connection with the instrument itself is great. And then being able to see your passion that you have for like the sounds that you're creating transcend to another person was great. But when it goes into like coordinating events or working events when I'm not performing, that's when it's you get to create the experience, and you get to be, and you also get to be a servant leader. That's the other part that I really love about it. It's like when you're doing an event, you're like, I was in real estate too. I've been in real estate for like 9 years.
Wow.
So, and I've been in sales since I was 18, 19. I'm 36 now. And there's, you know, some people like they like to turn $1 into $2, and that only gets you so far. Yeah. But the part of the event aspect that I love is that you're actually making an experience that's less transactional. In a way, you know what I mean? It's like that's where like the true passion lies, and it forces you to be a servant leader for people.
Absolutely.
Like you can't come into somebody's, like, because there's so many stakeholders in an event. There's like, you'll have the people that are the sponsors, you'll have the people that are paying for the event, you'll have the host, you'll have usually like in a project management sense, like the product owner. Right. They oversee everything. So it's like a lot of times it's not your event. You have to show up and humble yourself. You have to show up and take on all the stress and still serve with a smile on your face. And I think that's kind of a different topic, but I think that's one thing
you could say on that. You could follow that through line. But I think you're absolutely right. You know, it's, as you said, you've said it a couple of times, like servant leadership, right? So when you're coming in, you know that your objective is to curate an experience that is reflective of someone else, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
So walk me through that a little bit. Well, let's stay on that a little bit. When you're working with an organization, a person, or whatever to produce an event, what are your first thoughts? Like, how do you kind of approach them and then find out how you're going to serve as a leader?
Attitude, energy, vision. Like, you know, and I see all those things kind of come together. You know, somebody's like, let's take a general event, like a wedding, for instance. Like, so there's no wedding that's the same. You know, so when you look at what their vision is first, along with their attitude and atmosphere that they just have and radiates off them personally, you kind of get to feed off that. So that's the same thing that we learned with performing for people.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you see, it's like the vision comes alive when you know the person. And when you know the person, you know the vision, and then you look at like the high level goals. Like if you're working in corporate, it's like some people just, again, they see like, what kind of ROI can we get from this?
Yeah.
You know, very important to have that. But if you're actually looking at the company culture and you're looking at like just how their staff interacts with each other, you know, not just what their mission statement says online, but get to understand the essence of the people that are working there.
Right.
Then when they give you those high level visions and high level goals and ROIs that they're looking for, you can now say, oh, I know what kind of entertainment I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I know what kind of lighting I'm looking for. I know what kind of like, and in this sense, it's like, you know, it's sort of angles you're looking for, what kind of filters you're looking for, what kind of what kind of transitions you want in your videos. And all of that comes out of who the person is and who their staff is and the attitudes that they have, sometimes the belief systems that they have come into play.
As a performer, because you've talked about how you've performed, you've gone around and performed with bands and stuff like that. Where are some of the other connections you see between, you know, how an event is run as a performer versus how you manage it as a business owner?
Gotcha. As a performer, the logistics are so key. It's so key. So what we do is I'm a solo person inside of SNRGY Productions. So, but what I do from all the connections and the personal relationships that I have is I'll bring in an operator that's really good with influencers for certain events. And then I'll bring in another operator that I've known for a while just for the logistical aspects, like parking and things like that. So I always like to look at it as like, I would be the Scorsese. I hate to
no,
you know what I mean?
You can compare yourself. That's fair.
I'm just using
You're a director,
reference here.
You're a director. I get it.
Yeah, but like I know people. I know how to work cameras. I know how to work sound. I know how to perform. But there's people that you put in place that, you know, there's a director and there's the other producers that need to be there. And I say the same thing with performing. So it's like, you know, there's got to be somebody handling the logistical aspects of the load-ins, the load-outs, the technical writers, everything else, so that the performer can get there and embody and more in depth of what they're doing.
Right.
So it's like, you know, if David, I'm trying not to use like old references, but like David Bowie, let's use Jelly Roll.
That's fine. Both are fine.
If Jelly Roll gets a call and he's like, hey, we have a $3 million gig for you. It's going to be in Cabo. And this is what we're going to do. But you have to book your own plane flight. Oh, by the way, you also have to figure out how you're getting to the venue in there. Oh, can you also figure out what kind of gear that you need and call your people and figure, I mean, come on now. Think about that. He'd be stressed getting on stage. He wouldn't be able to really perform like he did at the Vatican recently. That was spectacular. But like, and he gave it to God too. Like that was electrifying. I love that. But that's what I see with events too. So if like the director needs to be that person that, again, is able to connect all of those sources back to the heart of what's going on. The arms and legs and everything else.
Absolutely.
You know, back to the heart of the source. So,
I like it.
So same thing with being
a business owner, you kind of have to
recognize
all these different moving parts, basically.
Right. Yeah. And performance-wise, like when I go out and perform, like I'll put it this way, when I was touring, so I would have like a block party. I had to cultivate the instrumentalist to be there, and we have to be an MD, music director, outline the entire set, logistically knowing exactly what we're doing on stage. But we weren't in charge of where to put the trash cans.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right,
we didn't do all that other stuff, but it allowed us to really perform. And that's one of the things that made me kind of step away from that level of performance too, because then I wanted to be the director of the gamut of productions, not just one thing. And I'm felt called to be there, and based off that experience of like, man, this event world seems like a lot of like it's a calling.
Yeah,
right?
There's something to it.
Is that how you felt about like what you're doing with Agento and performing as well? It just feels like a calling sort of thing.
It's one of those things. Just like I kind of naturally fell into this. I have a background in helping people. To be honest, that's kind of what I've built my whole personal ethos around. That's what I've kind of always been doing. I've been a performer. I help in the community where I can, and then outside of that, just connecting with people. So regardless of what I'm doing, whether it be here with Agento or outside, I'm always doing something that basically attaches me to, like, as we said earlier, the energy of others, kind of reading the room and just kind of helping people have a better time than what they might be having on their own.
I love that.
I love
that. So you kind of do the same thing where it's like you're like, oh, and we'll call it vibe. Yeah. It's like the vibe of this area of the room is this, and this is over here, this particular person is this. And then it's your job to kind of like find those nuggets of uniqueness in those areas and try to push everything together.
Find the interconnectivity, because there's always some tissue that's connecting. It might be thin, but we can get to it.
Ooh, man, this is a good conversation. This is awesome.
So you tell me, if you don't mind, SNRGY, how'd you come with the name, and where did the obviously you can see it through who you are, how you get to what you do. But
thank you.
As far as building out the business, where did that start and come from?
Well, we picked an amazing time during COVID when nobody was doing events. So, but I'd been putting events together and working with AV production, like over the gamut of, say, around 10, 13 years, performing ever since I was 19. So, but I've been in the events world for this long span of time. So when COVID hit, it was looking at all of these, our hearts just went out to them. We're looking at all these people in the event world that some of them have $150,000 arts degrees. And they have payments every single month, not to mention their rent, not to mention everything, like our operators over here, like, how much time goes into learning these devices.
Absolutely.
And it's kind of like a thankless business, behind the scenes. So our heart went out for that, and I started calling people and putting together all my contacts and saying, like, how can we make something happen? But it gave us the ability to slow down and to put together the spreadsheet of all the contacts that we had. And we were actually doing like virtual meetings. So I was doing virtual meetings with people out of Orlando and New York, Nashville. One of my good friends that lives in LA, and he's actually renting cars. He got a Grammy because they utilized one of his cars in one of the music videos that won a Grammy.
That's pretty impressive.
But we're just sitting down and talking, and the term SNRGY came up, and I was just like, huh. I was like, this is good. This is really good. Like saying, because I feel like that's in my opinion, like when you watch a great film, you see SNRGY.
Yes.
Like I always reference Forrest Gump, but like that was one of those films that every aspect of that film has SNRGY.
Absolutely.
Bringing people together, from the Lieutenant Dans to the,
to the Bubba Gumps. Everything just made sense.
Yes. And by the way, every time the movie comes on, like it's hard to turn off. But
yes, but don't turn on USA around like 10 o'clock, because usually have it going at least once every quarter.
Yeah, and one of our operators that worked for Disney, her name is Michelle Matrell. Her and I were talking, and we were talking about SNRGY kombucha.
Yeah,
I think that's how it started.
Yeah,
and I was like, why don't we drop some letters here and do SNRGY, and just like, because all the cool kids are spelling things differently now, so why don't we just go with it? Yeah, and it might be easier to copyright. Who knows?
Right, exactly.
So
I like it. So so you, even in the name itself, it seems like you mentioned one of your operators. Shout out to Michelle.
Yeah.
So you seem to work with people to create this vision, and you go and accomplish this vision through your connections with others, through your you saw a need in the community. Hey, people can't do events, but they don't know they don't even know how to get started.
Right.
I have this wealth of knowledge, and I have these connections out here. Let's make it happen. And as you said, you sat down and you just built out a contact list. Not to go into individual contacts, but can you tell me about maybe a case study example that came from that experience of you kind of going through like a good example, and maybe even if you have one, or one that got away because you didn't take better advantage of the opportunity ahead of you.
Okay. Ask me to call myself out. I love this. Okay. One of those examples is a good friend of mine that I went to high school with, and we were kind of troublemakers back in high school.
Fair.
And yeah.
You're a musician, so I already know there's something in there.
yeah, something that I have to keep tamed on a daily basis. But no. So his name's CJ Bugatti, and he moved over to Shanghai after we graduated high school. Like I said, we were brothers, like, you know, felt like brothers, like all the time. So he went over to Shanghai for 10 years. He brought Ultra Music Festival, or helped bring Ultra Music Festival over to Shanghai for the first time.
Wow.
He did the Great Wall of China Festival. He helped produce that, or was the main host and producer of Great Wall of China Festival. And then he came back over to the States, and I hadn't seen him in like 9.5 or 10 years. And as soon as he opened the door, I was just like, yep. Okay, we're back.
Back
like, it's
sync.
like right, back in the saddle again. Aerosmith reference. There we go. And due to our trust in each other, he helped open up so many different avenues. Like now we have entertainment lawyer from Sony Entertainment International.
Wow.
And so, like, because of that, like, I was at a mastermind with AV, and this is where the synergy comes in. I was at a mastermind, family mastermind, and that's in Tampa. Shout out to Matt Andrews, by the way. And one of the attendees comes up to me, and he's like, "Hey, so you book influencers and celebrities?" I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, I have a friend that's doing an event in Cabo. Actually, it's his wedding. It's an Indian wedding, so it's going to be going on for like 3 to 6 days." And I was like, he's like, "We're going to have elephants there and all this stuff."
Wow.
He's like, "How much would it cost me to book the Weeknd?" And I was like, "Well, I'd have to make a call and see." So because of that connection with CJ, I was like, I was able to just make a phone call and basically got in touch with the Weeknd and got a quote from the Weeknd. He was going to do a private jet, and he wanted to bring 25 people, like entourage. He was going to be there for like 2.5 hours. But all that stuff came to fruition just because I started that contact list and started going back and looking at who I was really connected with. I would say one that I missed out on. I don't know if I really believe in missing out too much. I think it's like, we're all on a path, you know, and we really need to focus on, you know, recultivating some things. Like how many times in our past have we been like, "Oh, I missed out. Bro, like this is never gonna work." I just don't. I think it's an unhealthy way to think. And some of those opportunities, I'm actually glad that I missed out on.
Fair, yeah.
Like super, super glad.
We'll go into that then. You know, flip it on that one.
Sure.
What was an opportunity you thought would be there, and you're glad it didn't work out?
I would say, man, that's a really good one. Because I try to be grateful for everything.
Absolutely.
But the bad and the good.
You don't have to say any names or anything, or name anything in particular. You know, just be like, I saw, I later found out that was like, oh, that's what that turned out to be.
Okay,
You know,
I'll give you a great example.
like Firefest, you know, you didn't have Firefest on you.
Yeah, we haven't done any Firefest type things, which is great. Okay, so one was being a touring musician. So when I moved to, and going to Berklee School of Music. So I got accepted to Berklee School of Music back in 2011, and I was going to go for drums.
Okay.
And within like 2 months later, within actually maybe like 30 days, I get a call from my buddy James Hershey that worked at BB King Blues Club in Manhattan.
Wow.
And I'd always wanted to go to New York and have the New York experience. So I had a choice to make. It was like, you know, spend $50,000 to $60,000 a year getting an arts degree education, or go straight to the source where I want to be anyway and get paid to be there, which was like peanuts back in the day.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
The Berkeley situation, I'm super happy that I didn't choose that. Like looking back, because I don't have college debt. I don't have to worry about that. And then when I came back from New York, I was like, let's do the touring band thing. I actually want to make this. And I found out that being an original artist and pushing that was not really what I was called to do. And it was like one of the hardest breakups I've ever been in my life. You know, like,
it's probably the longest relationship you had in your life, that like, performing in music.
Yeah, it definitely, it was like that for real. And so I'm really glad that I'm glad that I opened the door and I don't have any regrets about it. And I know that it's not meant for me right now. Like, I might go out and write songs, but as far as like being the person that pushes their own material all the time, and then has to pray and wait for followers or, you know, somebody just to identify with where you're at.
Yeah.
And on top of that, get the producers behind you and everything, like, and then really what it comes down is follower count.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, shout out to a gentleman named Scro, SCRO. He's a past student of mine that we used to. I'm kind of taking this on a rabbit hole. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. You're good.
but a past student of mine, was after I graduated high school, I taught at Manti High, Southeast, and Palmetto High, and did some work at BCS.
Not for one boys.
Yeah, there you go.
We're locals.
And one of my percussion students, his name's Nick, but he goes by Scro now. He just extremely talented guy, extremely talented. He moved out to LA, and I mean, like he just rips on guitar. He's a drummer. He's basically knows how to make magic with whatever instrument he touches on. So the thing that got him into a touring position, a nationally touring position, was TikTok.
Wow.
Yeah, and he had a viral video, and then a year later, now he's.
Wow.
I mean,
just post yourself and go.
That's what it was. That's what it was. So I'm glad that I don't have to rely on that stuff and always put my name out there. I like the team aspect. Absolutely. So I'm glad that those two things didn't happen: the Berkeley school education and making it as an original artist.
Yeah, fair. I can see that 100%. I mean, at one point I thought I wasn't going to be behind the camera. I was definitely going to be maybe in front of it, and I guess technically I am right now. But even to this one, it's just such small scale, and I still get enjoyment out of it. It's kind of like really like realizing what you enjoy out of what you thought you wanted out of life, kind of thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So what is like, you know, the thing that you're most grateful for now with that decision?
I'm most grateful for the grace I've had with myself to like not overthink or not like get in my own way about where I am at, what I've accomplished. You know, self-doubt is a real heavy thing.
Poisonous, man.
And it's really it's something that can eat away at you, and to be honest, just to not be grateful for what you have accomplished. You know, it's if I want to be on stage or in front of the camera, did I want to be on stage in front of the camera because like my ego wanted everyone to love me, or is it because I just like talking and performing and documenting the experience?
Yeah.
If I break it down to that instead of like the ego that comes with it, then I'm getting to do that every day, and I'm technically getting paid to do that. So like, maybe learn to scale back, you know. So that's kind of where I've been with this whole process of like everything, you know. Some things where I could have, maybe I could have went to the moon with this thing, but also, you know, am I enjoying my time on Earth? Yeah, I kind of am. So
right,
it's kind of accepting that.
Man, hallelujah for that too. And I love how you added grace in there too. It's like, definitely have to have a lot of grace in this industry. Like, and back to like full circle, it's like, we're more than just the ROI.
Absolutely.
We're more than that. And we come as dust, and we're going to leave as dust. We're going to come in as naked as the day that we're going to leave.
Absolutely. I'm telling you.
We're going to leave as naked as the day we came in. So, I just had this conversation with a gentleman that I'm helping coordinate a wedding for, production for a wedding, and millionaire, and he helps run a national company, and I was like, man, you're gonna be selling this business in like 5 years, and you're gonna be good.
Yeah.
He's like, but I would trade it all to have more time with my kids.
Exactly.
Like, when they were growing up, because he's like, I remember like 5 to 10 memories when they were younger, and I would give all the money back to have that moment, those moments again, and to be more present. So it's like, how old are you now?
33.
33. Okay, so I'm 36. So I don't see rings. Okay, so we're single men too. So I think it's really important from learning from the elders. Let's call them that, right? So
absolutely.
It's like, what we're doing in business and how we're building our business blocks now. Let's leave an entrance for those moments to enjoy life.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that some weeks we're not going to work 90 hours a week. And, having a woman that understands that too, or whatever your preference is like very, very important.
Absolutely.
But I think, the intentionality in your heart is extremely important. Like, I'm doing this business, I'm making things happen, but when I'm done, I'm with my family.
Right.
I'm here, and that's the kind of stuff that I'm learning to trade now. Like, instead of like, I could do 100 outreaches from 6 to 9. I should really do that. But then like my aunt calls and it's like, hey, I want to hang out. I'm like, we're gonna do that. We're gonna make some tacos at Auntie's tonight.
Yeah, that's more important than, because at the end of the day, dollars can be made or lost, but those memories, they only get made. They don't really get lost.
And I'm sure, like in this building, Gary Vaynerchuk's name has probably been thrown around a couple times. So like he was even asked, like, if you could go back to your 20s and start over with nothing, or keep all the money that you have now and be where you're at now. He's like, oh, I would go back. It's like, what does that tell you?
Yeah.
How many people that have made it have said the same thing? Like, like, I don't know. You guys, have you heard that a bunch? Like, from most of the entrepreneurs here, like, it's like,
time is the most valuable thing in the world. It's the one thing you can't buy.
Right, and I'm trying to figure that out before I get there. Like, trying to have like future perspective on that. It's hard, man.
Before the money's here, can I live this like, holistic life before the money matters?
Right. And like, honestly, like, the presence of God in my life it's great because, I get to show up and I have a better chance of being the same person when I do business and when I'm home. And it's so much easier because I was on stage, felt like I had to be a different person.
Yeah.
While I was selling real estate, had to feel like I had to be a different person, and like take these like little bits and pieces of like, almost like acting in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Did you ever felt like that?
It's like a representative. Chris uses this term, like, people come as their representative, and
it's
Chris,
great. You did it again.
Yes, you did it again. The clever one. But ultimately, it kind of comes down to people want to show up as this version of themselves.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you don't really get behind that representative until they're more relaxed. Time passes, vulnerability is kind of on the table, basically.
Right.
So, getting past a representative is a big deal, but also just recognizing that everyone does have a representative. And maybe... And on my end, again, to that point, using that word grace, I know my representative is not necessarily always going to be on point. But, if I can have grace with myself and, like, be vulnerable enough to like listen to insights from others. Hey, this is how this made me feel. Then that representative can at least hear things and tell and inform the version of me that's like the natural, you know. And the closer you get to being more vulnerable, in my opinion, vulnerable and accepting of others' opinions, the less that representative shows up because it's more of you.
Right.
So.
Right. So in like with myself, I'm even prayed for that too. I'm like, okay, the more I hide, the more I act, the less I know about myself.
Facts.
So it's like I tell people, I used to go around and be like, oh yeah, I can book you these influencers. I can do all this stuff. No, it's like my team. My team does that. I contract them out. They hold their own insurance. They hold their own licenses, everything else. I get to be the director. And so it's like, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, it's like skating around being like, oh, well, yeah, like we could potentially do, like, I wasn't even saying potentially, it's like do stuff and it just, or coming into a room with like, when I was doing masterminds and I won like there's like some billionaires in the room.
Yeah.
And then I would hold that on a pedestal and then I'd see like how it'd shift my wording to sound like I was like more than I was. I'm like, I just gave up the opportunity for somebody else at that level to be like, here's a mirror.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, so really I just lost out on a $1 million education.
Yeah.
It's like, that sucks.
Well, you don't show up as your authentic self. Yeah. You don't show up as your authentic self, you could lose $1 million.
Yeah. Well, or lose your soul in the process. You know, it's like that's huge. And I've had that before too when I was out performing or trying to keep certain band members together or trying to, as an artist, put things out there in a certain way. And when I attached myself, my personality and my heart to those representatives that weren't me, the facades of those representatives, I lost myself.
Yeah.
And that's like, I really hope and pray that like our young kids can see that now. And I think they actually are to a certain extent. Have you noticed that? How like, how there's like when I was growing up, we didn't have, I'm gonna sound old. Dude.
Bro, we're the same age basically, so.
Yeah. Well, do you remember before the internet came out?
Yeah.
Like we had chat or AOL, Instant Messenger.
To my AIM? Oh man, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, we had monitors that.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying
it
not
sound
to.
like you were trying to destroy the computer just to get on the internet.
Yeah. Killing transformers.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
Your parents' back room, but you know, like I didn't know I grew up and was born and raised in Bradenton, Florida. I didn't know what was going on in Lakewood Ranch.
Yeah.
It must have been like, compared to now, it's like the difference of being here to LA. Like I have no idea what's going on over there.
I'll tell you what, I was growing up and I went to school out there. One number but pasture, brother. You ain't miss a lot. You just miss some pasture, some trees.
Got to smell horses and money.
Yeah,
all right.
Exactly. I don't know if you smell the money. You smell some horse though. That's for sure.
Right. But now, like our kids, what I'm seeing is that they have some of them are very like introspective in a way, almost maybe too much, like a little more introverted. Like maybe they don't. You got to kind of pull. Like I love talking to younger people because like, especially if they're like a little bit shy, and just like ask them about themselves a little more, so they get to express that. But I'm getting some like in-depth insight. Yeah. Because like they get to see what millions of other kids are doing around the world
all at the same
from their phone now. Yeah. All at the same time. So, and I'm seeing them wake up in certain ways, and it's a lot of information for a younger person to. It's just a lot of information for me. Yeah. You know. But now we're seeing to make decisions like, I don't want to be an alcoholic. Like now mocktails are like a cool thing. It's like, okay, that's cool. Like you get it. Like when I'm
non-alcoholic beers everywhere.
Right.
Every brand has one now.
Yeah, exactly, man. And like, so I just pray that, you know, they find a way to find more of themselves and find the real representative. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, absolutely.
That's cool.
I just got to touch some grass. That's what I would suggest. Touch a little more. Yeah, they just need to touch a little more grass.
Okay.
They're
Not
very
the bad
in-depth.
kind.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Very. We're talking about the stuff. Oh, that all grows from the earth. Unfortunately, walk outside and touch the grass in front of your door. That's what we're talking about. But I want to get two more things I want to run by you. Number one, you can just tell me, and the layman, SNRGY. You know, how can you show up for someone who doesn't know what you guys do?
Gotcha. So, and this happens on like every networking event, you know, so what I simply say is that we're a production coordination and brokerage. Okay. So like, and I'm like, oh, what does that mean? I say, well, we specifically handle entertainment, influencers, celebrities, speakers, or / keynotes, lighting, videography, photography, and AV and staging for corporate events, for small business events, medium-sized business events, hotels, resorts, venues, and we've worked with festivals too.
Awesome.
So where we come into play is if you're talking to me, then I know where all of the vetted operators are. And there's expertise of their specific industry. So if you want an influencer for a brand, I know who to call.
Gotcha.
In New York that are close friends of mine. So, and then it also gives to any client that we have, it gives them the a la carte service.
Yeah.
To be able to be like, oh, well, maybe I want a different type of AV company or a different vision. I'm like, okay, great. Well, you don't even have to use any of my in-house gear because I don't have any.
Right.
So I'll connect you with the right operator to match your vision, and you don't have to be shackled by whatever I can bring you personally.
Right.
I can customize everything. And so they're like, oh.
That makes sense. I mean, that's how you get to the Weeknd, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or even with small businesses.
Yeah.
You know, it's like some small businesses, they don't want a $250,000 production, you know, but if you're working with blue chips, they're going to want $250,000 production. So we know who to call for that. And I take all my operators through a vetting process. Like I look at their history, I talk to their CEO if I'm meeting them for the first time, and I say, hey, what do you do well? What's your mission statements? What's the soul? How did you guys put it in Agento? The soul of the brand?
Yeah, the soul's on board.
Soul's on board, okay. And so we do the same thing, and then you just look at their track history, look at the products that they have, the clients that they keep, which is humongous, and then we get into a series of referral partnerships, so they'll bring us clients, or we'll match them with our clients.
I like it. I like it a lot. That's super informative, and I am curious to add on to that, since you're kind of like you're like the quarterback basically, if you're using football terms.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a good way to put it. So I'm not the coach. I'm actually on the field.
Yeah, you're on the field, but you're distributing the ball.
Right.
So all the ones who are going to make bigger plays down there.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. With that being said, who are some of your, not that you have to like reveal any names or anything like that, what are your, I was going to say who. What are some of your favorite types of events to put on right now for the companies that would be like local to us here?
I like networking events, like expos, and then those would probably be some of my favorites because I love that CEO energy and business owner energy that comes together. And then let's say block parties too. So like, and we actually just worked with. I was actually a support for the Kansas show at Bradenton Area Convention Center. That was great. Oh, awesome. And shout out to Chris Colhane as well. Chris Colhane at Center of Anna Maria Island.
All right, shout out to Chris.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome. So, but that's the kind of stuff that I like.
Okay.
You know, the masterminds are definitely up there because like back to your question, it's like the intimacy of it, and then it's like everything's a TED Talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're just like, your mind's blown every
time you walk in, someone's got something to say. You're like, what?
Yeah. And the connection that happens off that, more than turning $1 into two, it's the connection and the energy exchange of a win-win.
Absolutely.
So I love that stuff.
Paul, we want to thank you so much for having this interview with us.
Thank you.
It's been our absolute pleasure.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you so much for having me. This has been awesome.
Yeah.
And shout out again to Gento. I know you folks have been working really hard, and also it's just nice to have that soul connection in what you're doing first. You can feel it when you walk into the office. You can see it. I think I met Chris and the team at Manatee Chamber of Commerce Small Business Awards.
Yeah.
And I saw Chris from like 20 yards away, and I was like, I know you. Yeah. I felt like I already knew him. So I went up to him. Yeah. So appreciate everything that you guys are doing.
Thank you so much, Paul.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
God bless, man.